I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
I didn't see anything.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I move to approve as presented. I second, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded to accept. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. Public comment here. Commissioner comments and committee reports.
Well, I was at the same city county meeting you guys were at, so I guess that we probably discussed that last week.
Yeah,
so I have nothing this week.
I have a JCAT meeting the 14th here in Atchison, and that's all I have.
Okay, I had a multi-county health meeting last night in Hiawatha. Nothing really new to report. They have moved their hospice into their Brown County facility up there because they were set to save $20,000 a year rent on a building, and they're interested in trying to add on to that building so they can keep it in-house, which is going to be something that we may have to deal with down the road, because if that's a multi-county health, if that's paid through there, we would actually be owning a third of the addition, so we don't know how that would ever work, or unless Brown County would just add on to the building and supply it. So that was just some discussion.
I think they should stay within the county because we're furnishing all people building at no expense to them. So.
Well, that was just how theoretically we were, it's early stages, it's, we were just discussing. Oh, and I had some pictures here. Pat, I didn't hand some papers over there. Here they are. Under the roof. Kristen Watkins had kind of went through their bylaws for the multi-county health. She's kind of indicated what she has added and changed from the previous ones. She just wanted to know if you could look over them and see if there's anything that sticks out to whether that's good, bad, and different. And then she also sent a copy of the.
This is a copy for me.
Huh?
This is a copy for me.
Yes, you can have that. And also here's a copy of the resolution. She just said take that to him too. If you don't want it, you can throw it away. So, other than that, seems to be good financial shape. Had a nice, short, sweet meeting for once. So that's all I have on that.
Was we going to get some more formal written agreement with them about maintenance and that type of stuff, or did I get?
It's kind of the vicious circle. I brought it up last night, which I thought when she was here last, we said that the board was going to look into it, and she said, well, maybe Pat can. And I said, well, Pat said that he didn't know what to put in the agreement, and that it should maybe be the board. So I think it's just a thing of not knowing really where to start on that, what foundation, because it's a little different situation where each county owns the building. They're not charging rent. Where does that, being part of the county and yet their own entity, where does that line drawn? So I think we ran all these years without a formal agreement. Maybe we just kind of have to start thinking about where we want that to be, and then set the wheels in motion sometime. So it's kind of that The other counties have the same problem. You know, we discussed it last night, and the other commissioners and they may have slightly different agreements or things because they have newer buildings, and or now that hospice is in with Brown County, that might create something different for them. So I don't know whether it's anything that we can come up with one template that all 3 counties can sign off on, or whether it's going to need to be 3 individual.
It's going to be individual
contracts. So I hope maybe I can start working on that with Kristen here in this next year and kind of develop something. That thing will not stay that way. Okay. Seth, you want to come on up?
Okay. We present 2 POs for discussion of this morning's work session on radios and the mowing tractor.
Okay, let's discuss the first one. Is the trading of the New Holland tractor or mower to an upgraded version, hopefully one that is sound this time and with a different type mower in the amount of $16,224.
I would move.
Are they going to change over the mowers
This is going to be a completely new mower with a new tractor.
so they won't put it on?
Yes, it'll be installed.
Okay, it'll be installed before they bring it. Okay, that's the only thing
I make a motion to buy the mower in the amount of $16,224.
I'll second it, making a note that Road and Bridge has enough left over to the budget to pay it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0.
Is that going to be something? Of course, you're not going to need it now, but the other took quite a while to get it, or they already got it.
I'd say it's either before spring. I think it was 3 or 4 months. This is kind of an easier setup. So
They got to go ahead and take the old one so they can try to move it, or
it's already at their shop, just waiting to be repaired, just waiting on a phone call to make the determination.
Okay, the second PO is for radios. 15 of which is the 15?
15 is going to be the
Trucks and stuff.
mobiles for the vehicles, and then 10 is for the handheld.
Okay. 15 for the first radios in the amount of $46,000. 10 of the portable radios, amount of $27,000, and with chargers, it's another $2,000 minus $18,000 for the discount, and the total amount is $57,030.56. This is the reduced number of radios and pagers that we hope to eventually have. So we wanted to phase this in, make sure instead of getting everything together at one time, see that this is working before we go with the full package. So, is there any other discussion?
we want to make sure that we get this on our insurance, but like Commissioner Barrett said, our deductible probably wouldn't take care of one radio, but in case they're all stolen.
I'll check with Wes on what they do with the emergency side radios.
I really hate to pay that much in a way, but yet I realize this is a safety issue, and especially we get into if we have a big snow season. So I'm in favor of it. So do I hear a motion to accept the PO in an amount of $57,030.56?
Barrett made the motion. Have you just seconded it?
No.
Okay, I will move that we buy the radios at $57,030.
56.
56.
Chairman.
I would make a comment that the full thing would be $79,000.
Yes.
We chose to go for the smaller package and then to phase it in. Over
Is
the
that
company.
install price?
So,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other further discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0.
I bet I asked you at one time, how the system is working. I wonder if there'd be any value to like any township that we put on Purple Wave, would we get anything?
I'm sure, I don't know.
You probably would want to talk to Wes about that. We actually talked about it because we had looked at purchasing some on Purple Wave with the banding requirement, the narrow banding requirement becomes mandatory, I think, next year. And so it didn't look like they had much residual value.
Fire departments, everybody.
All of our departments, I mean, some of the, like you said, the narrow banding is what everybody's pushing off of that system, the inner system. So there wouldn't be much of a market for it. Maybe $1 or $2, much as you get out of the trade or something. So we can certainly try to put it on.
Well, if they're not working, I think we just replace them.
I'll check with Wes, maybe he has something. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Just have her scan it for me. Thank you.
Okay, new business. See in the folder here we've got application for beer license.
That's further on down the line.
Is it listed?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would like to bring up, we want to make sure Mr. Campbell is getting that written agreement drawn up. That I think we agreed to that during the city county meeting, that he would draw up some kind of agreement for our equipment. Tower, more than just verbal.
Yeah, we've had a discussion about it, so I know that
That's
it's underway.
That's all I have for new business.
Okay, just a second. Okay. Everything.
didn't we have some dues that we needed to pay? Or?
Okay, we'll just go ahead and address that now.
I have a couple of things. The first thing at the joint county city meeting, they discussed the K.S.A, Kansas City Area Development Council. There was a bill that came through for the amount of $7,500 for the annual membership pledge, October 1st, 2017 through September 30th of 2018. This is something apparently that we paid, and this did not get paid because I know we were having discussion about what council to get into or what region to get into. This is something that Becky brought up at the meeting.
I think we decided last year, Commissioner Sheila, the one that brought it up then, that.
Well, I think that was MOCAN.
Maybe
That was MOCAN, and I don't remember ever seeing a bill for this one.
This is the correspondence that came. It actually came to Jamie and myself, so I wanted to address it, knowing
in the past we paid this.
We paid that one, yes.
I wonder, see something like this, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when we're writing a check from the county for $7,500, I would like to see what does this program did for the county or for the city. I mean, are we getting any value? Are we getting anything out of this?
Well,
and when we pay the bill, I think we should have some information.
Well, I think that was the whole gist of the comment that we made at the city-county meeting. You know, we are approached about participation and paying these, and even a year ago at that meeting, Trey indicated that, yes, he needed to inform us of what was going on, and because unless we have some feedback, we have no idea if that's just throwing a check out there. I'm sure that if the city thought that there was no value to it, they wouldn't be asking us to pay it. But yet at the same time, there's nothing like seeing it.
Well, why don't we have Becky and Justin update us? They're going to be here on the 12th.
Next
Remote
week.
can, they can just take a few minutes after remote can and update us on
You
it.
want to table that then, or is this something?
Yeah, I would just table this until next week.
That's a good idea.
And then we might let Becky know
Mhm.
we want a little bit of information.
Because I'm not familiar with this organization. Everything is usually centered on MoCan, or we talked about Mark, and so I definitely like to hear more on that.
Well, and then I'd like to somebody maybe put together a list of all the things we have paid for economic development, because there's quite a few items we've paid, and it maybe always ask at budget time, are they worthwhile? I mean, and I guess there was it was a gentleman's agreement back when we started paying these bills, or it was but I think everybody's got to understand that we are contributing to economic development of this county. I mean, and which includes the city of Atchison and city of Effingham, etc.
Did you catch it in the Globe? Maybe this isn't the best time to bring it up, but I thought there was a slight discrepancy in the story, and it made it sound like because we hadn't paid the MoCan bill on time that the ball had been dropped on some of those things, which it actually was just the opposite. It was we chose not to pay the bill to MoCan because they had dropped the ball. MoCan hadn't done their due diligence, so we felt they had. So that was just something that I had read. When I read that story, I thought it didn't quite ring true to me.
Well, it was a long discussion, so
Yes.
you certainly see where Swift got confused.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just thinking I didn't think that it came out in the wash correctly. Quite.
Yeah, that was a little bit inaccurate.
But yeah, I think they're coming up next week, so that'll be a good discussion topic.
Next I have K.Camp actually sent out a renewal for the 3-year stabilization program, and also the contribution credit. Once every 3 years, they do a rate stabilization program where they kind of cap their rates. They can only increase a certain percent. The letter kind of explains that. But that first year, you get a contribution credit, which is based off of your years of being in the membership and what you pay. And that contribution credit is subtracted from the annual amount due. And this is the letter that came with that, and the agreement that's with it as well.
I recall right last year, we got a nice check from them, and a week later we got a nice bill.
Yeah, well, this is for $12,600 credit. It's not like they just send you a check, so credit. Which I guess is the same thing.
This also kind of locks us in that it's almost, they know we're committed to staying with them for another 3 years, correct?
1 year.
It's a 3-year program.
Yeah, it does.
It says this is agreeing to continue its participation in the K.Camp Risk Management and Insurance Program through December 31st, 2020. I don't think we have any version.
Well, I know when we was at Wichita News this time, we heard the two people speak, and I was very impressed with the other insurance company. I don't recall the name.
That was Topeka,
Topeka?
new board member training.
Yes, okay. But I think Pauline, the former county clerk, really liked K.Camp. She was on their board for a long time. But I was impressed with the other talk with Topeka. I never heard it from.
Sheriff Calhoun was on the board at K.Camp when he was here. I don't think we've had anybody on the board since then.
I thought Pauline was.
She's on Carrot, which is the work
She's
comp.
on Carrot.
And K.Camp is the property and general liability carrier.
I actually just yesterday met with Maura Chambers from K.Camp. She's been with them for a little over a year, and she brought me some information on the value-added services. You were talking earlier about what we get out of it, and I only have 3 copies here. I apologize, but you guys can look at them. But it's some of the the benefits we do get from being with K.S.A, as far as the online university, which is something that we kind of went through pretty heavily yesterday, because there's a lot of classes that you can take. Sexual harassment, one of them, different law enforcement, active shooter, different things like that, that as a department head, you can assign your members, your employees to take these, and it kind of keeps like a portfolio of your employees there. They're all free. They have law enforcement tuition reimbursement, road scholars tuition reimbursement, the risk avoidance grant, which is our safety committee, benefits from that, and then the attorney assist, which we've used. These are just some of the numbers that we've used, and there's a couple of them that we don't have anything for, and she brought it to our attention, so we're going to try to get some of that tuition back on some of the items, but you guys can pass those around. For K.S.A, I don't know anything else.
Okay, now this is the we got a handout of what our buildings are insured for. That would be K.S.A, correct?
Yes.
I thought we're way, way, way over insured on some of the figures that they got. But
We're insured for the replacement cost.
we had the values on some of them places. I think.
Oh, the dollar figure that they had for replacement was so high.
Oh,
I mean, it seems.
I think Road and Bridge building was $385. I'd hate to get $38,000 for it.
Well, I agree with you, but if you had to replace it, that's their, when they do it for replacement value.
What are they going to pay when it rusts out and falls down? Is that going to be?
No.
I don't know if rust is a something to insure you for.
You mentioned, Michelle, that they reimburse you for Road Scholar, and you said that we haven't been taking advantage of that. Now, didn't Seth take some of those classes?
Oh, he did.
Well, and when Maura was here, like I say, Maura's only been there for a year, not quite a year, 10 months, I believe, but she actually had some figures down, because I believe there was a couple of you guys that took the K.S.A budgeting class. Maybe?
You and I took that one budgeting class together.
There was, and that is going to be credit because that's a Road Scholar course. It's not actually for just Road and Bridge, but it's classes
that's
that are
the one
designed.
I took with Jamie and Seth. Yes.
There was, but she had actually found that. So she had like 300 that she was going to get ran through. And I talked to Seth, and he was actually he had a couple others that went through like a plowing, and then there was a couple other courses that he had guys go to.
Since you told me that this morning, and I got thinking, well, I didn't know whether that's something you needed to apply for before they would acknowledge it, or whether any of these that hadn't ever been paid that they could.
It's something
reimburse.
that they want the completed certificate from.
Okay.
So.
Do they have a webinar on sexual harassment? Because you turn on TV, that's all you hear. That the commissioners and maybe some department heads could watch and pick up some things.
They have they actually have the online university thing, and there's 2 pages front and back. So there's 4 pages of different. They're more like webinars. They're 30-minute plus in time, but it's something that people can watch. And I do know that sexual harassment was one of them because we checked. I was lucky enough to catch.
Is there a fee to that?
Not with being members. All of the courses were free. I mean, they had courses all over the board.
Didn't you say that you turned that suggestion over to the safety committee and that they were about doing some training on that?
I did turn it over to the safety committee. 2018, they've already completed all of the required courses that they needed to do, but Maura was going to check to see if there's anything that there was out there that we could just have. But no, there are some on there. Like she explained it, like with my girls, I can put my girls on as my office employees on with their own account to where they would get credit for watching those. But you could do it on the screen and have, department heads come in, or have certain offices come in, or do it a couple times a week and have, to where you can catch everybody.
Well, with it being such a hot topic, and there's probably that ain't even the tip of the iceberg what goes on. If they have something, we probably should view it.
I think it's a topic to be discussed now.
I can try to get it on to next Tuesday morning, the workshop agenda, and maybe invite.
Or was you going to let the safety committee make that? Was they going to make the call?
I don't know when they have I think they could.
They do have a meeting coming up. I think it's the 13th, 14th,
Why don't we let
or
them
the 20th, right?
discuss it and see what they have?
Yeah.
And I mean,
somebody brings it up.
yeah, it's brought up, and maybe if you could be seeing what's out there and you could present them,
Right.
it's like tell them that we're interested in it.
Right.
This, K-Camp offers this, and that way they have something to choose from.
We were actually in here when Maura was here, and Kim, Joint Communications, went by, and she's actually on the safety committee. So I was able to get her in here. So she sat and went through a lot of what we were discussing and was very interested in the university as well. So she's aware of the courses that are out there.
Well,
So
not only that, if it's free and it benefit the commissioners or employees, it's a no-brainer. You do it.
I think I know I was told last week I brought this up, and HR director said that it had been requested training a year ago, 2 years ago, and that they set one up, and there was very few people attended the training. But now it's
sexual respiratory.
yes.
I think we'll make it mandatory.
Make it mandatory.
So I mean that's the next thing. How do we get this out there, and because I think that just sets the precedent that we're serious about it. It's not just something to gloss over, and we need the setting it up, and when the time people can view it and take the training, and because it'll have to be, if we're going to have everybody do it, there'll have to be multiple times or
right,
that it's
right,
available.
you would have to.
Or
Like to state on camera, to my knowledge, and the two commissioners, we have no knowledge of any misdoing, but it's such a hot topic on the news that we feel that we should look into it.
and it's something that we don't want to feel not to discuss it. I mean, it's not something to be pushed behind closed doors. I mean, it needs to be, because that's what causes the ongoing problems is the people refuse to talk about it, and then it gets pushed further and further back. And so, anyway, we get back to the task at hand. Are we interested in signing off on this 3-year stabilization program through K-Camp?
I'm not real crazy about it, but
Well, the first year there's a reimbursement to us, rebate of $12,560, but then it will go back up to, and it's capped at 2.25% for 2018, and then a cap of 2 to 5% for 2019 and 20.
I don't think we've studied other insurance options. It's pretty hard to change horses if you haven't had a chance to look at the other horse.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to have someone look at that for us at the end of this contract.
I know former Commissioner Shealy was going to look into something versus Carrot. Former clerk kind of come unglued. That was her call. She'd been doing it.
That was Carrot.
Yes, but
Do we want to table this at least till next week?
I don't know if we're going to have an answer next week because we really don't know what's out there in the market.
Well, I mean, just what happens if we don't sign this? We do a year-to-year agreement with them without a cap, correct?
Maybe Maura Chambers needs to come up and maybe have a chat with one of us.
She did. She was just here, talk to you. What do you think about that?
I don't know that what do you think, Pat? I sent it to you as well.
Well, I got it today. I didn't read it yet. We've been with K-Camp for a number of years. If there's interest in seeing what rates would be somewhere else, we could sure look at it. I've been
But then you get into the insurance game where, yeah, they'll come in and they'll give you a real low price, and then you're in it 3 to 5 years, and you're paying more than what you were paying, and then you go back to the other one, they're not interested. So, I don't know.
My gut feeling is I feel that it's been a good relationship with K.S.A. from everything I've seen, but you know, I'm not here to just go on gut feeling either.
Yeah, I understand. It looks like most of the counties in our state are on the K.S.A. program. So we're not like swimming upstream to go with them.
Right.
We're swimming with a flow, which sometimes isn't the right thing either. But I just don't have any information to make a decision other than K.S.A.
I have no problem going with K-Camp. It's really the question is, do we want to tie us up for 3 years? If we sign this stabilization agreement, we're signed up for 3 years.
I wonder if that question could be asked. Can we sign up for a year, and what would we lose? The rebates or the guaranteed cap, or they just don't have a year-to-year policy?
I believe they have. You can go year to year. Of course, they're tempting us with the rebate of $12,560, which sounds really good.
Well, we probably paid that $12,600
I
anyway.
remember last year we got a nice rebate, and then it was 2 weeks later, and we got a big increase that took about 3 or 4 of the rebates.
Yeah.
If I recall right.
But they're saying here we're not going to get an increase.
I do have a question, though, and the way this is worded is a little bit ambiguous. It's we have a maximum annual rate cap of 2.25% for the 2018 program year, and a rate cap of 2 to 5% for the 2019 and 2020 years. Could that be a 5% for 19 and then another 5% for 20? Or is that a 2 to 5% for the combined? You know, that
It says each year, but
If you could read that either way.
to me, for insurance, that seems like a pretty reasonable increase, 2 to 5%.
Well, depending on all of your claims. So I think our claims have been pretty good.
I don't think that we can possibly make that decision today. I mean, it seems that we're just keep coming up with a little more questions.
Let's bring it back for the workshop next week and talk about some more.
Okay.
Maybe get some more
Can
information.
you find out what a year contract would look like as far as cost? Do they offer it? What would we lose?
I can try to get the information. I don't know what was paid to K.S.A. because that did not pay through me. But I know a lot of, like the carrot is pretty pricey. I don't know what the K.S.A. has cost.
Maybe we get somebody up here next week and talk to us about it.
Who takes care of K-Camps explicitly for our county? I mean, who's in charge?
Jamie would have been the one who paid it. I can go find out what they paid
Okay.
last year.
Well, but it's more.
It's not so much what we paid. I'd like to know what would the cost be different if we just 1 year committed to 1 year versus 3. If they offer it, what would the cost difference be?
I don't know. We can call Maura. She did, well, I don't know if she's available yet. She told me she wouldn't be available at 1 o'clock. But
Okay. Well, I think that can wait for more discussion anyway. So if you want to find out this next week,
I'll just see if she can come.
oh, come, or if she can't, you know, give us the option of.
Well, if she's here to answer the questions, it makes it a lot easier discussion.
Well, she can explain it more than just our questions. You know, you're looking at that, but you realize that maybe 1 year contract there is no cap. You lose your rebates.
You can also ask, do we need to insure for replacement cost?
It's,
Did you have more?
The only thing that I had left was I received an email from Jim Irvin from the paper in regards to the season's greetings that normally goes in the paper. He just kind of gave me a heads up that this is what him and the previous clerk had done. This is the ad that runs. It will be running on December 23rd and always runs in the Christmas Cuties pages. The cost will be the same as what it was last year at $138. Previously, I guess she would just get the approval from you, turn in any changes to him, and he would have it. The deadline for this is December 10th.
It's $160, but I'm not sure that's where you spend it.
I saw it this morning.
The only person that's benefiting that is the newspaper.
And that's the email that came with it, if you wanted to look at that as well.
Investment is the same.
It's not costing a lot, but I agree with you. I mean,
Well, my third vote would be not to do it.
I can go along with that. I think this is something that we can maybe utilize our social media.
what's your take? Wow.
I think we got social media. We have a social media person.
I have a staff now. County Counselor's Office, Pat Henderson and staff.
I could go with this maybe more if it was almost, if we had like the county numbers that nobody knows attached to it, or something that was an informative thing.
Information.
You know, there's a lot of people don't like our new phone numbers because they're 800.
The 804 instead of the 367.
People think that it's if you're calling out from here, they think it's a telemarketer or something.
Yeah.
But if we've done something, if we could do something,
Maybe we need to forego that and put a number out in there.
could we do that?
The newspaper only has like 1,000 circulation.
If we were going to do something, I would just do like a season's greetings and then phone list instead of listing everybody here. Just have the department and the call numbers, and that would be an informative thing that people could even cut out of the paper and put in the phone book or something. So we do have that problem. I mean, I've had several people saying I can't find the number.
Well, we've had some complaints from I believe the court that are calling up there and wanting numbers. We're not telephone operators up here, so
We get it in our office as well. The majority of our calls go to the treasurer or to the district court. You're going to have that. People are going to just call the first number they can find, no matter where that number's at. I have put department and phone number listings in both the Farm and Home Publishing that is sent to every county citizen address, and as well to the city directory, the CDI, the city directory. I've done the department listing with the new phone numbers, updated department heads and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a gift that keeps giving.
But hey, I think I'm against it as is, but if we would do a season's greetings with something like that, I would probably go for it. That's not necessary.
So she'll say she's already sent that to everybody in the county.
Well, it's not to everybody in the county, correct?
I think the Farm and Home Publishing goes to the addresses for every.
Oh, does it?
I believe.
Okay.
The impression I received.
Is that the little white book that gives descriptions?
Has the maps. Has the maps.
The map gives your property, shows where you live.
Inside the front page or inside the back pages, the Atchison County Commission. And it has the directory listing.
You need to call for a motion. Did you make
I haven't. I didn't know.
Do we get a vote on $167? Is that something we should vote on?
$138. Do I hear a motion to discontinue the season's greeting ad?
So moved.
a second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let's try to plan something for the
Social media.
social media to put something out to employees and season's greeting, and then on Facebook to the public.
We could probably provide a link to our phone numbers on social media.
Sounds good.
Chances are the ones that go to our website already know our numbers. The ones that don't go to our website and that they don't take the globe.
The social media be Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest.
We still have an older population that doesn't have computers, don't access, if they do, it's so limited that they are searching our website or anybody else's
It's
for
hard
numbers.
for them to get the information out.
Yeah.
We can only do so much too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that all you have, Michelle?
That's all I have, yes.
Oh, so you're going to bring up your third voting machine?
Oh, I can do that. I did have a demonstration for Election Source. It's the third company that does election equipment. I had that yesterday morning. Pretty impressed. There are pros and cons. Their ballots are typically on paper size and a little thicker, of course, but they are printed in Iowa. And it's pretty costly as far as their doing all of the paperwork or the data behind creating the ballots. I have a hard time with that, knowing that it would take me 2 days to get ballots if I had an issue or a problem. So,
I was unavailable to 10 yesterday. I was at the doctor's. But at the very first two, the second one, I don't remember. I didn't like it because they more or less admitted that they were just middlemen. If they could buy a machine and make more money, they would jump. They wasn't committed to this one. I was impressed with it.
a lot of the equipment that was here yesterday was over-the-counter equipment. Printers that you can get off the shelf. So.
Did you ask them a question about having one big counter in your
Yes,
office?
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's a big savings right there.
Right. And that was an over-the-counter scanner. Over-the-counter scanning unit. So, but it was pretty quick. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would, that would be kind of your call. What do you think?
I'm going to work on getting some prices from probably this company and the first company we
When
looked
you
at.
go, what we're talking about now, so I guess it's public, we probably should talk a little bit about combining precincts because of the cost of machines. They kind of are married together,
Mm-hmm.
and why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Why we're doing it.
The previous machines did not hold as much data as what some of these new machines can hold. So the possibility of combining certain precincts together and running it through just as one precinct, because the availability of getting the reports that I need on the backside is there, so I can split out the precincts. But it can be ran just as one precinct. You can have multiple. There are counties that have one voting center, which unfortunately we don't have that. We don't have the capability to have that because the need. But there are some people who have one voting center in their whole county, and people go to one center. They get their tickets. They get the correct ballots.
So one machine's counting all of the ballots, even though, and it's keeping track of where that's coming from.
Correct. So it runs a total tally sheet at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
and it splits it out by each of the precincts. Because the precincts are important because you have different, it's kind of like a taxi unit. You have different commissioners in different areas. You have different House representatives in different areas. Your school boards broke up, your cities. You have different areas, different ballot styles, different precincts. You have to have those. But with the capability of the new machines, you can combine some of that and create your larger voting centers and still have the ease of vote. No, go ahead.
That would really be able to cut down on the amount of machines that you would need. I would think that you're utilizing them, and I think that's where we really need to be clear to the public why we are doing it. And I mean, you're not only saving the poll workers and the machines, and I kind of like that idea. I didn't get here for the presentations, but I did see the outfit from Omaha was your first one, right? And I did see their presentation at K.S.A, and I was very impressed. I was very impressed. And even something small, some people would, as soon as I saw the ballot that they have, they are currently the ones that do our current ballot. Correct. It looked familiar. Correct. And I think a lot of people, when people see that and it's familiar, you know, every time they go, if there's a different type of looking ballot or, you know, it throws people.
Right. And I don't want to change. I don't want to change a whole lot. I mean, I don't want to just flip everyone's world upside down, so to speak. But I want to make the transition a smooth transition. I want the election workers to be educated and with the new equipment, with all of the new equipment. I want all the precincts to have the same equipment so that in case somebody gets sick or something unforeseen happens, you can move people around if you have to. And with an emergency situation, you can move them from station to station. But I want everybody to have the same equipment, but I want the ease of the voter to be able to walk in, check in, get their ballot, put their ballot through the machine. I want a smooth transition. And I've had 2 different companies that have vowed to get me there with education for the poll workers, education for our workers. So, and then basically on site for the first year. So,
okay, very good.
Something we're looking into, though. I mean, it is something that I feel needs to happen.
Change all at once, but if we're talking about eliminating some machines, aren't we going to have to do that as well? So,
absolutely. And the cost per vote is.
We're just going to have to do a lot of education.
The next thing on the agenda is the beer license. Is this all one license here?
Second one is an actual copy. We have to get that approved through our county attorney, and he signed the one, so it's the one that you guys can also sign off on. So we don't need the second copy for you. That one there is what goes to our township board.
Okay, we sign it, and then it goes to them.
They have 10 days.
Okay, and then we sign 2 of these?
Just the one. You just need the top one.
Okay. Any questions? It's for the doing business as Potter Country Store and Bakery, Potter, Kansas. And the registration is under, is that public knowledge? I need to say that, or?
I mean, it's legitimately in the county.
Okay. I don't need to go any further then. So do I hear a motion to have me sign off on the beer license?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Pass 3-0.
Now that we're on liquor license, do we need to come up with some kind of solution to the, I don't know what to call that, the Mr. Bilderback's property?
Well, I don't think, no, I think we need feedback from ABC.
Okay.
On this, like you said, there's no place for me to sign. Shall I just sign below her? City county office use only, but that's, do you know where, Pat, if you wanted us,
I don't know exactly where they signed.
Do I need to sign that?
Or I just need to sign the top, what you said.
Yeah, but they're the two, they're identical, but now this is the one with Kaufman's signature.
Right, that's the one that we would want you to sign.
Where did he sign it? No, he just did.
Do you want by him? Should I just sign below him?
Yeah, I would probably just initial it there.
Initial only?
Well, he just has initials, right?
Yes.
So, whichever. Yeah, signatures, whatever.
I'm going to sign it. So this one is for our use. Do you want me to sign it too?
Go ahead. I will get this sent to the township Mount Pleasant Township Board today then. We'll get that issued out.
In this resolution, this was from BC, correct?
That was from Gilmoreville last week. Apparently they had tried to present documentation for the resolution. That was not done. I'm correct in saying that?
We tabled it, but then this, is that something for us to sign again, or?
That's what she gave us last week.
Right.
Yeah, no, this is tabled.
Okay, that is tabled as, is that what we had put back in the folder last
Yes.
week? Oh,
Yes.
okay, I thought that was a new one that came. Okay, I misunderstood. Okay, we also, Michelle, you had said something about, was Mr. Green back up asking about the...
Mr. Green was up last week. He was also up yesterday. I don't know, there was another person involved with it that owned the property. She had called last week as well, wanting to know what the commissioners had decided.
Well, see, I think that's property that one of the city commissioners bought. He's going to fix it up. So that property has some value. So I would be against zeroing the amount for this year's taxes or next year's taxes. That property has some value.
Yes, well, the parcel it's located on would have a basic value, plus if it's going to be
rebuilt, what was said.
Is it public knowledge what a insurance company pays, or how would they determine a building is 80% total, or, I mean, could we use that as any kind of guide on what we could propose for abatement?
The petition that was submitted is a public record, and there were some insurance documents that were submitted with that, and you may consider those. I don't think that we could go to the insurance company and ask. In general,
I agree with what you're saying. That would make it easy. They're saying, okay, 70% of it's destroyed, well then 30% is what should be taxed on.
Yeah.
That would make it real simple.
You know, especially if we have something to hang our hat on, you know, it's like, this is what insurance company, their estimate is, and that would be as close as what we could come by far, and that would be the most fair. What are those insurance existed?
That was from the insurance company, correct?
159.
Let's just see that.
197.
And Bill, I think you are correct that this property has been sold. But as far as that sale price, I don't think that sale price is something that can be given out.
No, I don't. I'm not arguing the sale price. What I'm saying is, the person that bought it's going to rehab it. So to me, the property as is of right now has some value on it. I don't think his taxes should be, or her should be, zeroed out. It has some value to it.
And there's always, I mean, you're always going to have a land value and a building value. So my personal opinion basically is there's always going to be some sort of a land value there.
Yeah, but it's probably pretty minimal.
We're talking about that house that partially burnt.
You think it has changed hands?
Yes.
I don't know if the actual deed has been transferred, but I have been informed by the applicant that it was sold.
I'm kind of the person who sits here saying, well, to me it ought to be torn down to get the refund of the taxes.
5% of it, I agree.
Unless there's a plan to rebuild it in the short term.
And I think there is.
Okay, but I think when something's started, that's when we should consider the refund.
But it's a little complicated because the refund will go to the person that paid the taxes already, not to the person that is in the business of rehabbing the property.
Right. Which is okay. Just I want to know whether something's happened with the property.
And if you'd ask him, they're going to say, "Oh, he valued the house at zero. He just bought the ground." But yet he may possibly fix it up.
Well, but that's next year's taxes.
You always pay as a rear.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you read that was the.
And this was
That's
in
a cost
June or
of
July when this.
January 14th, I believe, is when the house actually marked.
That's where I'm not.
And the
what
taxes
is
for that
that?
2017 tax
Because then
year just
they
went
minus
out
that out and
because
they
the
come out
taxes
with-
are based off January
Is this
1st value,
the current
which would have
value
been
of
the
property?
complete structure without
Phillips
damage.
is hand personal property. We don't have any idea how much of that's personal property.
Yeah.
The actual cash value, that could be 50,000 of that. The county valued it, I believe, at 65,000 or something like that. It was about 3,000 for the land and 62,000 for the structure.
Well, you're going to be setting a precedent, so we just want to make sure we get it right.
And when he came in, I told him that this was the first time that this has happened in Atchison County and that we were wanting to make sure that we had everything correct, because it was going to set a precedent over this type of incident in the future. And I know it's on a case-by-case basis, and I explained that as well. It's something that you'd have to really...
How do we have the former owners pressing to know what, so what is our answer going to be to them? What are we going to do with this?
Well, I'm not interested in giving back some of the taxes if there's a disrepair home sitting on the property.
Okay.
I mean, does that make sense?
It does, but putting a shoe on the other foot, if I was a landowner, I wouldn't want to be paying 100% of my taxes. I don't think you should be give 100%.
No, I have no problem giving back the money. I'm just saying the timing of it, I have a question.
Well, this actually happened in January, so they've actually paid. These taxes they're not paid
They're
at
not
all.
paid yet.
Not due till tomorrow.
The taxes for this property
About 15.
as of January 1st of 2017 were just sent out. The first half of the January 1st of 17 taxes is due December 20th, which it's not, I mean, it's as whole, but I mean, they give it a grand total tax that's due for the 2017 tax year based off the value that was there January 1st, 2017, with the first half being due December 20th, second half due
rebating taxes that have already been paid.
No.
Okay.
This is basically giving them a credit or...
I will say this. In the past, I got my taxes in an envelope. I got them all at once. I maybe get one or two today and 3 or 4 2 weeks ago and still got 6 or 7 to go. They've never been...
Yeah, they're right there at the same time.
They're right there. I got some yesterday.
Really?
And I had some 3 weeks ago. And I kept saying, this ain't... I'd love to write a check for this here, but they ain't got none of the ground there yet. So...
Okay, well, does that give you...
We haven't really decided what we want to do or what solution, but like I said, whatever we do, we set the precedent. I want to be fair, but I don't want to give the, I want to be fair about it.
If the person who bought the property, I mean, the person who's getting the money back is the owner of January 1st, right?
You're not giving any money back because the tax.
I mean, we're getting exempted the tax.
Right.
See, I had it the other way around, where they had already paid, but they didn't get use of the house, and they had already paid these taxes. I thought it was an abatement for last year.
Well, we think we know who's involved, right? Probably it'll get fixed up.
I've been told it's definitely going to get rebuilt, so to me it has some kind of value.
No.
Should we wait and have the new owner file?
This person's going to want to know by the 20th.
And the new owner of this property would not be eligible for any kind of tax rebate or incentive in 2017 tax year.
No.
If he purchased the property, because I think both you looked and it's still under the same name. I actually had a text that I had sent and haven't received any phone calls as to if there's been a transfer yet. So, to my understanding, the new owner, if purchased, would not be able to get any kind of a relief or anything for 2017.
He would if he was in that designated area.
I think he is in the target area.
So much.
You apply for
But
that.
he has to apply prior to starting any construction, and then he would not get any tax credit back until after the taxes are paid, after the assessment is on there. So even for January of 2018, my guess more than likely is he's not going to have anything done by 2018 January 1st.
My suggestion would be to have the appraiser go out, put a value on the place, and I hate to put her on the spot, but she should know that it's valued at 0, or if it's valued at 30%, or
I think that's a good idea. That way, in any future,
we got something to stand
we got something to stand on. That we went out and inspected the property. This is what we found. This is
value at this.
And I know they're working on 2018 tax year now. I mean, they're bumped into the 18. They've been working on 18 tax year for a while.
Can you get a hold of Melissa and see if she can do that for us?
And that's going to have to be SAP.
We can talk about it next week.
Well, but that's
Oh,
the 20th the next day, so
Yeah,
Well,
oh no, 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks. All right,
Let's make a decision on the 12th.
we can make a decision next week instead.
If Melissa can check it out and put some kind of value, she can do it that time. To me, that makes sense. And if she put 0 on it, whatever we do, and they don't get 100% back, they're not going to be happy because that's what they're thinking. They're going to be a problem.
I explained to the applicant. I explained to him that there's a potential or a possibility that he may not get a 100% back because there is land value and there is a current structure standing there. Because I asked if the structure was going to be removed, because in the first discussion about this, that was one of the comments was, do we need to have them clean it up first before the rebate or the complete credit is taken off?
Mm-hmm.
He made comment at that time. That's when I was informed that the property was potentially sold, and that he was not going to tear it down, that he was going to put remodel basically and rebuild. So the structure itself being brick, what is there that's brick is still apparently good enough to go off of without removing it completely.
I'd say let the county appraiser look at it.
I think that's a good idea. That way we have a basis to start
It's only 2 blocks from there.
Okay. Any other new business? Any old business?
Well, I had talked with Mr. Rozak about having an executive session for attorney-client discussion. We could reach him by telephone, and he's available for that.
Now?
Yeah. Do we have enough information from the last meeting that we could got enough solid enough information to discuss with him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long a meeting?
I would say probably at least half an hour.
Okay.
Attorney client?
Read the card.
Attorney-client privilege? I guess I'll make the motion. So I move the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 2:07 for consultation with an attorney for the public body, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319B2, and that the purpose of the closed session is to protect confidentiality of the discussion, and that the board come out of executive session at 2:37, that'd be half hour, p.m. in the commission room, first floor of the courthouse, and those present will be county councilor, the 3 commissioners, and Mr. Rozak via phone.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We will now go into executive session.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 2:39 p.m. for consultation with an attorney for the public body, which would be deemed privileged by the attorney-client relationship as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319B2, and that the purpose of the closed session is to protect the confidentiality of the discussion, and that the board come out of the executive session at, we're talking about another 15 or 10 or what?
Yeah, what do you think, Tom?
I said 15.
Okay, 15,
249, 248.
250. We'll just come out at 2:55 p.m. in the commission room, first floor of the courthouse, and those present will be county councilor, the 3 commissioners, and Mr. Rosnick.
I second that motion.
By telephone, of course.
Yeah, by phone.
I second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. And we wouldn't get the read.
We're on. So if that's an option, I have his phone number.
Okay. Any other county council updates?
Yeah, I did a couple things.
And if you need to go, I mean, just
Well, they're not urgent. Where is it? Let's see. We did get some today or yesterday. I got an email that had on ASAF and the bonds or the sales tax revenue. Some information about that. Maybe that's something we want to discuss next week. It doesn't appear that the bank is applying the payments exactly the way that I had thought. So maybe if we put it on next week, it would give me a chance to look at that first. There is a CARET meeting next week on the 12th. Do you want me to go, or do you want?
Well, everything is going on.
Well, we need to have somebody go because we do get a reduction. There's a point system, and attendance at the meetings is one of the things that goes into it.
Jamie Sullivan, she can't go.
can we have somebody else besides the 2 of you go? Or
I think you could probably designate somebody else as an alternate.
How about Wes?
I have girls that know how to come and take minutes.
Okay.
If need be.
I'd suggest we send Michelle.
Okay. I was
wanting to say that, but I kind of wanted to see if I got any feedback from her before
I didn't know about Keller comment.
Yeah.
So I moved to adjourn.
Well,
Do we need to vote on having Michelle do that? No? Okay. Do you have anything further?
I can wait on this.
Okay. With all of that,
Move to adjourn.
I second it.
it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. We are adjourned.